Chogger is an online comic creator. You don't have to sign in to use Chogger. If you do have an account, click on Sign In. Otherwise, you can just make a comic by clicking on Build a Comic Now. First, choose a layout for your comic. Click on your chosen layout. To build your comic, you're going to add images and text and speech bubbles. To add an image, click on the camera symbol. You can add images from Google by clicking on Google Images. Enter your search term and click on the search icon. Pick the image you want to use and click on it. Add image. The image will now appear in your recent items. To add it onto your comic, simply click and drag it. You can then move and resize your picture within its frame. You can also rotate it. Click on the camera symbol to return to other image options, because you can also draw an image by clicking on Draw. There are a number of drawing tools, like a paintbrush, where you can choose what size you want your line to be, or your shape. You can choose how blurry the line will be. You can choose how opaque it will appear, and you can choose the colour of the brush that you're using. If you make a mistake, you can use the rubber tool. You can also change the size of your rubber tool. You can undo if you delete too much. The paint bucket enables you to change the fill or the background behind your image. You can add fixed shapes like circles, squares and lines, changing the fill colour and the line as you wish. When you're ready and happy with your image, click on Add Image. This can now be clicked and dragged onto your frame as before. You can duplicate your image by clicking on this button to duplicate it. You can push it further back or pull it forward in the frame. You can also have it look like it's popping out of the frame, which can be useful for adding dramatic effect. Finally, you can delete your object if you don't want to include it. Click on the camera to return to the image options. The other options are you can add a photograph if you've got a webcam installed by clicking on Take a Photograph. You can also upload files by clicking on the file you want and clicking on Open and adding the image. To add speech, thoughts, captions and text, click on the speech bubble. You can see the range of options of what you can add. To add your item, simply click and drag it onto the frame. Type in your text, changing the font as you wish. You can also change the colour and the size, whether or not it has an outline to it, and what colour that outline is, and how big the outline appears. When you're happy, simply click off. You can move your objects within your box and resize them till you're happy with your frame. As you can see, you can drag your thought bubble to the left or the right, above and below, and change how long the tail of your bubble is. You can also change the background colour, the outline, how thick the outline is, the shape of the tail, and if you wish you can duplicate and change the format in other ways as we saw with the images. The other text options work in a very similar way. If you want to add a new panel or choose a new layout, you click on this window-shaped icon. Once you've finished your comic, click on the green Finish button. Type in a title for your comic and a description and some tags to help others find your story using a search. Then click on the purple Publish Comic button. Your comic will then appear and you can click on it to view it. To share your comic, use this box here, which shows you a link to share with friends, and you can post it on Twitter and Facebook and other social media. If you haven't signed in, your comic won't show up in a directory or through search results. Returning to the Chogger main site, you can use the red Browse Comics button to look at other people's comics and make comments on them.